We're going to cross over now from Mets City Field to the Yankees and Yankee Stadium. Although they have not been in Yankee Stadium in quite some time, guys. Talk about highs and lows. Talk about great teams, bad teams. The Yankees, you could put in all of those categories at some point here. Obviously, they had that remarkable run of 13 games straight. Just so incredible to watch as I think really any fan, unless obviously rooting against them. But it was spectacular baseball all around. The bats were there, the pitching was there. But then come Oakland, that series is huge. And the Yanks don't falter, guys. They win 7-6. Well, they almost lost that one after being up 6-0. And then 8-2 in the first two games of that series to extend the streak, really give the fans hope that, oh my gosh, these guys are here to stay the rest of the season into the playoffs. But now you have a little more worry with this team as they've lost 4 straight. They finished out the series with the A's in a series split. They lost 3-2, then 3-1. The offense was not too effective in that game, in those two games clearly. And then against the Angels, who are a team that the team of the Yankees caliber should be beating, they lose 8-7 and lose 6-4 last night. They're live now. They are up, I believe, 3-0 the last time I checked. So there's some hope there. But guys, I really want to, get into with you. Is there a team more, high and low or streaky or whichever word maybe you guys want to pick out a word that I haven't said, but is there any team that's more high-low oriented than this Yankee squad in the 2021 season?
Wow, that's a good question. I was going to say the Mets, but they haven't hit those highs in quite some time.
No.
You know what I mean?
They're not high enough.
But in terms of this season for the Yankees, I think what you said perfectly describes it. I remember I was at Yankees Mets on July 4th, which is kind of a turning point in both of their seasons, because at that point, and it was a great turnout. And I remember so many Met fans that showed up to that game. It was like a pretty even split, honestly. And the Met fans were saying, this is our time. The city's ours. It's a little changing of the guard kind of thing. And Yankee fans were upset because, of course, the Mets could back up, their argument. They were winning games. They were high in the standings. The Yankees, not so much. They were close to 500 at that point. Then you see in July and especially in August what the Yankees have done. And, of course, some acquisitions at the deadline. You talk about a Joey Gallo. You talk about Rizzo coming in. And that helps with their hitting. That's what they needed. I think that was their biggest problem in the first half of the season, their lack of hitting, because the team was built to hit. Even if your pitching's great, you got to hit, right? And the Mets have learned that as well. So it's going to be quite a stretch for them coming up, especially in September. And after that amazing streak, 13 straight, was it? Oh my gosh, you felt things could not be better. I remember mid-July, the goal was get 10 games above 500. And the Yankees got 20 above 500. They doubled that goal. And then they were as high as 24. They're back to 20 now with those 4 losses. So you have to think, okay, we lost 4 in a row, but we did win 13 in a row. So we've got to be doing something right. So I think the Yankees, they can take a chance. They have to regroup. They have to, they have to reevaluate. They have to be, what was working during that win streak? They were hitting. And they're not hitting now. And, sometimes you go on cold streaks, that's just part of the game. But the Yankees, what they can do is, they have to go for the wild card at this point. When you think about the playoff picture, Nick and Will, I think what the Rays have been able to do this season, it just feels like whenever the Yankees are doing well, the Rays are also doing well. It's like whenever you try to make up ground in the standings, the Rays are like, nope. Like, sure, you can win as many games as you want, but we're going to keep winning too. So it's just really frustrating for free Yankee fans, especially because they went on the 13-game win streak, and they weren't. I think the closest they got to first place might have been 4 or 5 games out. It's so frustrating. And now with the Rays winning 9 in a row and the Yanks 8 games out, you have to think, okay, wild card. Right now, they're 2 games up on the Red Sox. Now, you have to remember there's 2 wild card slots. The Yankees have the first one. So if the season ended today, they would host the Red Sox in a 1-game playoff. Red Sox are another story of sort of up and down. They were kind of like similar to the Mets. They were really hot at the beginning of the season, and they've fallen off a little bit. So we'll see what happens with them. But I guess all in all, you should feel good if you're a Yankees fan at this point. Don't let the 4 games loss discourage you at all. I think that, it happens. And the fact that you're able to take 13 and I think win 21 games in August, I think as a Yankee fan, as a player on the Yankees, if you're front office, you should feel good coming out of August.